Alright, it is a Tuesday, October the 5th, 9:27 a.m. and I will be looking for the same setups, which is going to be morning panic bounce plays, although some of these could do something else, like maybe IFXY can break the previous day high and do something nice. Maybe some kind of a breakout setup. I'm not extremely sure. ILUS, I'd rather see it try to reverse a few days and maybe make a morning panic bounce play later. I'll be looking at TGGI if it wants to do like a first green day setup. Same with FERN. ISWH had a very disappointing drop. I need to also, as soon as I finish this, I need to look at any stocks that were uptrending previously and just get up to date. The overall markets are not panicking, at least right now, so that's something to take into consideration. But yeah, that's what I'm going to prioritize, as well as any that look clean on the other watch list. I still can't trade those other stocks that are not tradable with Schwab, but I look forward to that whenever that happens with E-Trade. Alright, it is 9:49 a.m. and I did have one trade. It didn't work with ILUS, but I did it nicely because I cut losses quickly. This was an attempted morning panic bounce play setup. My entry was 9:41 right here, and that was near the end of the candle. It was at 3229, which was right about here, right here. And I was risking the low of the panic, which was this 32 level, give or take. So when that broke at 9:43, actually it kind of, yeah, no, right here, 9:43. Right when it broke the level, I got out at 31.97. Yeah, it's gonna be a conspiracy, but I think promoters watch my videos and they're just trying to find ways to make the setup, like wreck the dip buyers more. So I'm gonna be looking for this kind of a setup where if a stock has a morning panic bounce play, is going to make a low, and then I'm going to be watching for it to break that low, and then once I see some kind of a potential level 2 reversal, now if I miss it like it did here, it was kind of quick, that's totally fine. But I think it's just going to be like a case that it's going to depend on the stock and the way it trades. But if they consistently keep breaking the morning panic bounce play low, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be looking at it maybe breaking it again, and then if it does a level 2 reversal off of that, that's when I'll consider it for a setup, and I can probably go large as well. I just have to keep adapting, and this one did get as low as 30. I could take like random support levels. I think 30 was a support level at some point. This is when it kind of broke through here and made a panic, came back, as well as right here. So that's what I'm going to take into consideration. I just have to adapt. I'm going to be looking in the future. Of course, some of them are just going to have a normal morning panic bounce play, but if I'm looking at a potential morning panic bounce play and again it breaks the day low, I will be looking for a level 2 reversal, and maybe that 30 level could have helped in this case here, and I'll be in for a setup for that. So I could even try the higher low, which would have been right here at 31.53.54, and yeah, I'll be interested because they still turn it around. The stocks do turn around after it has a morning panic bounce play. I just have to adapt to that, and I did a great job cutting losses quickly. It was just a small $6 loss, just under 1%, kind of like yesterday, and this thing could easily go to 35. There's no reason why it can't. Is right at that VWAP level. I could even consider a trade right now, which would be something completely different from a morning panic bounce play, just something going for just a breakout over this VWAP level and see if it can do something nice, maybe even go green on the day. It's all gonna depend. Maybe it'll downtrend and it'll be a shoulder head shoulder. If they keep looking disgusting, the morning panic bounce plays, if they keep breaking the low, I'll just consider that level 2 reversal. I will be doing that starting tomorrow, and I might not even just trade them if they are just that weird. I'm not like some kind of simp trying to chase some setup that keeps being difficult, I'll just leave it alone. I was also looking at SPQS. Now this one was super sketchy. I would have been interested in maybe trading like a tiny $200 position because of the range it trades. It went from 17, it got as low as 12.5, which at that point I think that was over 20% down on the day. And you know, it just started looking so sketchy, this price action, that I never gave it any money. But in theory, maybe a buy at 142. It did get to 147, but again, this thing was super sketchy. Now this one didn't really break the panic low because it had this wick, but if you don't count the wick, it absolutely broke it right here. Kind of similar to ILUS, and this one did turn around eventually too. And this one was a bit nicer because it did at least have like another support level to risk off of, while ILUS was just kind of downtrending. So that's what I have in mind. Unfortunately, it just seems like it keeps happening, but fortunately I can see that, and I'll just have to adapt, and I'll probably be interested in a morning panic bounce play. I'll be interested in seeing it break the day low. Of course some of them aren't, but you know, and others will. But I think that's just going to be something I'm going to have to adapt to, or just not trade in the first place. I do like trading the level 2 reversals. It doesn't look too bad honestly here for an inverse head and shoulders. The issue is it does kind of have a spread, but I might be interested in that. I'll make an update later, but that's what I have for right now. Alright, it is 10:38 a.m. and I just got out of another trade. This was TGGI, and this was like so this thing is trying to have its first green day after this downtrend. It had one here previously. It continued to fade afterwards. So this thing had like a spike, which is a good sign that maybe this thing is trying to make a first green day, and it made a head and shoulders here. Right, and then it downtrended, and then it fell to this level, and I thought, why not just throw, like, it was, when was it, 10:29, right here. You know, it could have kept going down, but, you know, I thought, why not just take a, you know, trade, because it looks like it's going to try holding this 96 level. It tried the whole 97 and broke it, but it broke it briefly. It just, you know, didn't look like it had much room to downtrend, especially because there was a large bidder. So I just thought, let's just trade a tiny position. Okay, I got in technically at not 97 but 96.5, so right between 96 and 97, and I took the trade there again at this price, 10.29. That time, not that price. And you know, I thought it could potentially try to hold itself, and it did. It did like this channel hold, small position, really small position, but it just looked like it could try to do a first you know, green day, and you know, I held through it. And I didn't have to sell now, because when I saw there was this mega large, and it's still there, this mega large 5 million share bidder at 1 that just disappeared. Although maybe it's just because of the way the level 2 moves, but you know, it started to look super nice, and then at one point I actually tried selling at 99, which was, I tried selling at 10.35. Right, in this candle I tried selling here. I didn't get executed, maybe because my size is too damn small. That's possible. And then at 9.36, 99. But then it started to look super nice. My order didn't get filled because again it was a small size probably, and it got to the point where I sold at 10.38, which was this candle right here at 103. I'm gonna guess 102.5 or something like that. That might be me actually. 10,000 shares. Yeah, that might have been me actually right there at 9.38. Yep, right at 9.38 too. Okay, that was probably me right there. Now this thing can continue the uptrend. There is a large seller here. The big bidder that was at 1 doesn't seem to be here, right? I guess he came back, but not as big as it was before. So what could happen here maybe is it will put up a higher low from here ideally, and then it can continue to uptrend. This is going to be resistance. It can also try to maybe uptrend some more to like 105 or something like that, and then it makes that inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, and then the shoulder. That could be a possibility as well, but yeah, that was a pretty interesting attempt, and I'm still down on the day, but only 40 freaking cents down, and I traded, you know, this mega small position. My risk was $1. I wasn't feeling really that nice because, you know, I had to cut losses quickly. The trade didn't work, even though I traded it perfectly. Of course, you know, my ego, I still want to be profitable, but I clearly have to try something else with those morning panic bounce plays, or maybe just not trade them anymore. But it's nice to see this worked, and this was a nice 6% move. And even if I didn't sell then, I would still be able to sell now for a price that is really close to where I sold at 103. I mean, it's basically doing it right now. So yeah, in theory this could be inverse head and shoulders. Maybe this is like my mature, or maybe like my first attempt at really, the 104 is at the ask, maybe my first attempt at trying to do a first green day setup, and maybe hold on to it, and you know, for longer to see if it can keep putting up higher lows. I just don't want to for my, oh, there's that big, he might be fake because it doesn't seem like it's there when that price gets to that price point. But yeah, I just have to keep getting better, keep trying new things. But that was a cool one. I was interested in SPQS, but it turns out this thing is not tradable on Schwab, so I wasn't able to trade it. I was interested in it maybe doing like what it's doing right now, risking red to green at an earlier point. It did go from 164 to 176. It's not really that nice. FERN just keeps downtrending. ISWH is trying to put up a higher low from here. Maybe an inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder here, so it could try to reverse. But yeah, I'm very happy with that. That made the day a lot nicer. Sure, I'm not green on the day, but you know, that was still pretty cool. And yeah, like I said, this thing can continue the uptrend. Maybe not. Maybe it'll just be like this day and it just fails immediately. That could also be the case. And yeah, that's all I have for right now. That was a pretty interesting trade, and I held this one for, I held it a lot longer. I held it for, yeah, I held it for like 9 minutes. Nice. Alright. That's all I have for right now. Alright, it is 4:09 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. At the end of the day, I am just down 40 pennies today. 2 trades. Yeah, I was really upset because it didn't work out with that morning panic bounce play, ILUS, but I might just stay away from morning panic bounce plays, or do that thing I was talking about earlier. And this one in particular is not necessarily a nice stock. It's actually kind of ugly. The way it trades is ugly, so I might just leave that one alone, and maybe there are other ones that will work out. Like this one did work out right here, even though this was kind of sketchy with the wick here. It did make a move right here, and that would have been super profitable. And it turns out I wouldn't have been able to trade that anyway because of the fact that it's not tradable on Schwab. So you know, that was still a good, I think, just a good mindset in terms of just thinking about patterns. And in theory, I could have tried something like that definitely in the future. TGGI went as high as 11.4, which is a lot because I sold 10.3. Again, my buy was at 10.29 right here, and then my sell was 10.38, which was this candle right here. I was talking about it making a higher low. It actually made the higher low at the same level, just a little lower from here, and I mean, it made a nice move there. In theory, maybe I would have sold right here at 10.8 because there could have been a rejection because of this resistance level, but No, it went a little higher. It did dip a few times, and that was the end of it. I'm just gonna have to try some of these setups. I am not still holding this setup. For example, this one being a potential first green day, because they don't seem to really work all that often. But if that one works, maybe I'll consider it in the future. ISWH was kind of weird. Oh, but it did uptrend. They did try to make a first green day. We'll see. I'll see how this one does tomorrow. Maybe the first green day after like this downtrend, you know, pattern can be in effect. It could run maybe a few days, potentially. FER and just continue the downtrend. That's about it with that one. And then this one really, this one died. It just legit died. CEI down 50%. At no point was I able to be short this because I had no day trades on E-Trade. But tomorrow, I think tomorrow I'll be able to have at least one day trade. So, you know, then I can short this thing where it is now and hold till zero. I'm just kidding. No, the pattern played out today pretty much. And it's so funny how once the backside of the move was in, it was just so much easier. In theory, you know, it's still hard, but in theory it just makes it that much easier than trying to chase it all the way up here. You know, once it put this right here, a lower high, you know, it helps. Of course, it was trying to put up higher lows here, but when that rejected and it broke 3, that was super nice. That would have been the point to short, especially because it wasn't able to get past VWAP anymore. Yeah, so that's all I got, just down a small amount, but I really like that trade, the last trade with TGGI. I'm going to try more setups like that, especially if morning panic bounce way setups are just not going to be working that well anymore. Maybe that was just ILUS because it's always been a weird stock, or ugly stock, but yeah, that's all I have. I look forward to tomorrow.